10 seconds later, the bathroom door creaked open. Thank go. She lifted her gaze. What the? She slapped a Dot hand over her eyes so fast she nearly poked herself in the eye. He was standing there, shirtless, one leg in the jeans and the other one Dot halfway through the pant hole like he'd gotten stuck in a trap. His bare Dot chest was on full display, abs shining under the overhead light like someone summoned a Greek statue out of her bathroom. I don't know how to wear these, he gripped, he waistband and tugging it Dot up awkwardly. They are so tight. How do thy people endure such torture? My legs feel strangled, suffocated. Is this meant to be armor? Oh my god, please don't be dramatic. They're just jeans. Every guy Dot wears them. ... Dig. Every male of this realm binds his legs like sausages? Are they all warriors? Can you please wear something? My holy eyes don't want to see all that, she said, flailing one hand wildly as she kept her face turned away. He scowled. You act as if you've never seen a human body. We are all the same, inside and out. What? She put her hands away and immediately regretted closing, her eyes back. She doesn't want to be dramatic, but it feels so illegal to see him half naked. Her Jungkook never removed his shirt in front of her, and she feels like she would be invading his privacy if she take a look at him. What does that even mean? Same inside and out. Have you grown up in a jungle? He looked utterly unbothered. I have bathed in rivers with warriors. Modesty is a fragile construct. Yeah, well, this fragile construct happens to be my sanity. And you're breaking it, Romeo. Please, wear the shirt. And finish pulling up the pants. He grumbled, turning back into the bathroom. These pants are punishment. They're Levi's. Who is Levi and why has he cursed mankind? I swear to God, if you come out shirtless again, I'm calling animal control. I need assistance, he said, holding the shirt with confusion. Is this for the legs? She slapped her forehead. It's a shirt for your upper body. Arms in, sleeves, buttons down the middle. You seriously don't know how shirts work. I wore tunics. We had no such button contraptions. Well, guess what? I'm not your mother and you're not 10 years old. And by the way, even 10-year-olds can wear their own clothes. He looked offended. I was bathed and clothed by royal attendants, ... She glared. Well, congratulations. Your royal attendants are on strike. You get one shot. Wear the damn shirt and figure it out like the rest ... of us peasants. 10 seconds later, she heard frustrated grumbling, a few buttons ... pop, and then finally, the click of the bathroom door closing ... again. By the time he stepped out of the bathroom, Jungkook looked like, a very confused model. The white office shirt she gave him was buttoned almost right. Only one button was off, which made the shirt ... look slightly crooked, and the jeans, though tight on him, actually ... hugged his legs like they belonged there. He was barefoot until she tossed a pair of sneakers at him ... Shoes. She said ... Now they were walking side by side down the street, the breeze ruffling, her coat and his hair blowing messily. He kept looking around like a child seeing the world for the first time. Which, technically, he kind of was. I demand to ride this metal beast, he declared. No, she said without even looking. That's public transport. It's not ... a beast, and no one demands anything. You're not in a castle. Calm ... down, Rapunzel. But it roars. It honks. That's different. And what's that? He pointed towards the fire hydrant. She slapped his arm. Stop pointing at everything like you're on a museum tour. People are gonna think I kidnapped a tourist.
Did thou? Stop with the thou, it's making my head hurt.
They finally entered the grocery store, the automatic glass doors. IG open. Witchcraft, he whispered. And smacked his shoulder again. That's a sensor. It opens when it senses movement. Welcome to the future, His Majesty. He stared up at the ceiling like it held all the answers to life. And grabbed a basket and started moving toward the produce section. He trailed behind her like a curious puppy, pausing at every single aisle, touching every object that caught his eye. What's this? Sugar pillows.
He asked,
What's this?
holding a pack of marshmallows.
Blood of tomatoes. And this? He waved a box of tampons like he was holding a holy relic. She slapped it out of his hands. Nope, don't touch those. Not for you. But I must learn, knowledge is power. Yeah, well, not all knowledge needs to be powered through in a public store. Put that down and don't make me duct tape your hands. He watched as she picked apples.
Testing each one like she was interrogating it for its crimes. What sin has this fruit committed? He asked, ... It's bruised. We don't like that.
Oh, he picked one up. This one's red like battle blood. Shall we take it? She side-eyed him. Sure, conqueror. Toss it in. As they moved through the store, she tossed in more items: milk, eggs, instant ramen, soju and chocolate, while he kept trying to sneak in weird things like sardines, hot sauce, and bubble gum. Jungkook, we don't need 5 bottles of hot sauce. It says Dragon Fire on the label. And that is exactly why we don't need it. Double quotes. He tilted the bag like it was a potion. And what is this?
Cookies? This? Still cookies? This?
Bro, it's a different flavor. Stop touching. She swatted his arm when he reached for a box of Pop-Tarts. I told you not to touch things. I must understand this world to survive in it. Start by surviving me. They finally made it to the cashier after what felt like a decade and a half. She was unloading the items quickly when she noticed Jungkook hadn't said a word. She turned to see him standing completely straight, arms behind his back, scanning every beeping item like it was being judged in court. She made it to the checkout line where the familiar teenage cashier, Liam, waved at her with a smile. Hey, in! Haven't seen you around in a bit. You good? Yeah, she said, smiling back. Just busy. Liam's eyes shifted to Jungkook, who was staring at the self-checkout monitor. Double quotes. Yo, Jungkook. What's up, bro? Liam said. Jungkook's eyes flicked toward him, confused. Did thou summon me by my name, stranger? Liam blinked. What? I said. Jungkook raised his chin slightly. Thou speak to me as though we has broken bread. Have we shared wine? Fought in battle? Why don't address me so? Liam brows knitted. Are you okay, bro? And froze mid-swipe of her credit card. Oh my God. She stepped between them with a loud, nervous laugh.
He's just messing with you. Got hit in the head. Minor concussion. He thinks he's in Game of Thrones lately. It's a whole thing.
Liam stared at Jungkook, who now looked like he was ready to throw down with the cashier over honor and sword rights. He cursed me. Jungkook whispered to her, leaning close. He called me bro. I believe that is an insult in this land. And clamped a hand over his mouth. Please shut up. Jungkook looked betrayed. But she practically shoved the bag into Jungkook's arms. We're going now. Thanks, Liam. Liam chuckled nervously. Well, feel better, dude. As she pulled Jungkook out of the store by his sleeve and didn't say a word until they were 2 blocks away. He looked at her with a sheepish tilt to his head. Did I do something wrong? She stopped walking. Let's just get one thing clear. Shakespeare next. Time someone says hi. Don't bless their farm and call them a peasant. Got it? Jungkook frowned, eyebrows scrunched. But he called me bro. Yeah, that's what we do. We call each other bro when we're being friendly. But he is not my brother. It's just slang, it's not literal. It just means like, hey man, or yo, or what's up. It's friendly. Even you can call me bro, double quotes, ... He tilted his head, processing that for a second. Then made a face. Why would I call you bro? You are a woman. Okay, wow, misogyny from the 1400s, I see. I don't know what that means, he said, eyes wide. But I am sure it's an insult. She sighed again and shook her head, continuing to walk. You know what? Don't call me anything. Let's just survive this day without another peasant incident, all right? Jungkook stayed silent. So, I may call you my lady instead.
No, Your Grace. Absolutely not.
Enchantress of the modern world? He said, trying to take the bubble gum from her packet that was peeking out. Touch my bubble gum and I'll enchant your face into the sidewalk. He zipped his mouth shut and nodded with exaggerated obedience, ... Then quietly muttered, harsh for a bro. She couldn't help it, she burst out laughing right there on the street, groceries bouncing against her legs. This strange medieval man-child, sulking beside her with bubblegum and bright eyes like the world was brand new. And for just a second, it all felt weirdly. Okay. The door clicked open, and the familiar creak of the hinges made inside in relief. She dropped the grocery bags with a grunt near the kitchen and kicked off her shoes, rubbing her sore ankles with a wince. Jungkook followed behind her. He picked the grocery bags like a very confused but obedient knight. Ah, thank you. Put everything on the counter, she said, walking over and flicking the light switch on with her elbow. And please, emphasis on please. Put the soju in the fridge. We're gonna need it later. Jungkook nodded seriously like she just gave him a royal order. Yes, my lady. She rolled her eyes but didn't bother correcting him this time. Jungkook grabbed the green bottle of soju and walked towards fridge. He reached for the handle, pulled it, and nearly jumped out of his skin when the light inside flickered on. Ah, by the heavens! He yelped, stumbling back. She turned just in time to see his horrified expression as he pointed, an accusing finger at the now open fridge, its soft white light glowing like a ghost in the shadows. A loud snort escaped her before she burst into full-blown laughter. Are you serious? She howled, leaning on the counter for support. It's a light, not a portal to the underworld. He blinked at the glowing fridge. It illuminated itself when I opened it. That's what fridges do. He blinked again, then squinted suspiciously at the fridge light. Are there tiny men living in there? She laughed harder, wiping tears from her eyes. Yeah, sure. Tiny fridge. Elves that live to make you cold snacks. He set the bottle carefully on the middle shelf, then slowly closed the door. The light disappeared.
He gasped. Witchcraft confirmed.
She was still giggling, throwing herself onto the couch with a bag of chips, shaking her head. God, you're so funny. You mortals live such strange lives. You trust boxes that glow and talk. You let invisible fire cook your food. And you eat these. He grabbed a chip and sniffed it suspiciously. Crispy air flakes for nourishment? She snorted. Okay, Mr. Time Traveler. Are you hungry? Yes, he said seriously. I believe I am. Then make us something, she said, tossing a smug grin his way.
He blinked. Make? As in prepare food with my own hands?
She raised a brow. Yes, your hands. You've got 2 of them, don't you? He looked at his hands like they betrayed him. But why would I make something when you are already here? I thought that's what you were for. And scoffed. See, that's why you could never be my Jungkook. His brows furrowed. What does that mean? She sat up straighter. It means my Jungkook even if he was tired, even if he was sleepy. Even if he just came back from dragging himself through a war zone, he would have offered to make something for me. He would have said, sit down, I'll handle it. Okay, but I'm not your Jungkook, so I demand you to make something for us. Double quotes. Excuse me, your highness. This is not your kingdom. There are no royal cooks here, so naturally, you make food for yourself. But I'm unaware of culinary skills. In my time, we had people for that. I never even had to see an onion unless it was already sliced on my plate. So what should I do about it? He clutched his stomach like a starving child in an old drama. Make food for me. I request you, my lady, or I shall perish in agony, right here, in front of you. You are so annoying. In groaned, dragging herself off the couch. You're lucky you have a face of my best friend. I shall take that as a compliment, though I sense the venom behind it, he said proudly, chin raised. She stalked toward the kitchen. You know what's surprising for me? You've never cooked in your damn life? Not even once. He sat up straighter, serious now. Why would I? Why would I? She mimicked him, mocking his tone. Jungkook leaned forward, elbows on knees. I lived in the east wing of the palace. The kitchens were in the west. It was at least a 15-minute walk, and by the time I reached there, the food would already be sent to me. The maids used to bring my meals to my chamber doors and announce them with a bell. If I didn't want to eat, they would stand there, waiting, until I did. Wow, Im muttered, dragging her feet to the kitchen. He followed her, continuing proudly. Breakfast was served on silver trays, usually warm breads, cheese, honey, and fruits. Lunch depended on the season, but dinner was always 3 courses. And if I asked for hot wine in the middle of the night, someone always brought it. She held up a hand, groaning. So, basically, you're a spoiled royal brat. I wasn't even allowed in the kitchen. It was considered disrespectful for someone of my standing to... Okay, please stop before I burst a blood vessel, she said, cutting him off. Wow, your Majesty really had a hard life. Indeed, he nodded gravely. You peasants could never understand. She threw another chip at him. Peasant? He smirked, clearly enjoying himself. You know what? She said, standing up and bowing exaggeratedly. As you command, your Majesty. Perhaps I shall go fetch some grapes and feed them to you one by one. He placed a hand on his chest and bowed in return. You are most gracious, my lady. May the gods bless your humble soul. She giggled. Your Highness, you'll be having scrambled eggs and instant noodles tonight. Will this instant noodle be nutritious? He asked seriously, brows drawn together. In my time, I consumed only fresh, balanced meals. Grains, greens, meat from the morning's hunt. She snorted, cracking an egg into a pan with one hand. It's anything but that double quotes, genuinely horrified. Then why would you eat it? Because this is the food of the lazy, the exhausted, and the broke, which surprise, I'm all three. He looked at the noodles on the counter like they might sprout legs and walk off. It looks like dried worms. She pointed the spatula. Welcome to the peasant life. Your Highness double quotes. Shall we eat this outside? In the open fields? We eat it on the couch, she said proudly, placing the pan on the counter with flair. While watching garbage reality TV and judging people we've never met. Double quotes. Oh, that sounds enjoyable. It is. The ramen was half gone. The soju bottle sat quietly at the side like a guilty accomplice. And Jungkook was still holding his chopsticks like a baby trying to learn how to write. But he was eating. And God help her, he was actually enjoying it. This is good, he said, noodles hanging from his lips, eyes wide with surprise. Salty, spicy, and a bit smoky? That's just the egg sticking to the bottom of the pan. She leaned back against the couch, grinning at him. It's a flavor, I swear. He hummed softly, still chewing the noodles like they were a delicacy. His eyes squinted a little every time he slurped, probably adjusting to the spice. It was oddly cute. After a second of silence, she tilted her head toward him. So, what do you even do when you're free? I mean, without TV or phones or, Spotify, doesn't your brain get bored? He looked thoughtful for a moment. We read. We hunt. We train. We write poetry. Play music. Carve wood. Take long walks. Practice. Swordsmanship. Solve political riddles. Debate with philosophers or simply sit and breathe. That's your idea of fun? Your world is loud, he said simply. Sometimes just breathing feels like the rarest blessing. That shut her up for a second. She blinked at the ceiling. I mean, yeah, that's kind of deep, weirdly wise for a man who got scared of fridge light. That fridge was glowing. How was I supposed to know it wasn't cursed? She laughed, nudging his foot with hers on the couch. You're such a drama queen, Oops King. He just gave her a blank face. She rolled her eyes and leaned further back, taking a slow breath before saying casually, Okay, so, last night I was talking with my Jun. Yeah, you got it. Anyway, we were talking about how in old times people used hawk's weight, no ... pigeons. Yes, for letters and all the information and stuff. So, you did that? Like actual bird mail? Yes, carrier pigeons. Pigeons were trained to deliver messages between castles, cities, even war camps. Hawks or trained falcons for urgency or battlefields. We had whole towers for them. I knew a hawk named Soren. He hated everyone except my general. That's weirdly cool. So, like, you sent all kinds of letters through them? Dot double quotes. Yes, dot double quotes. Her eyes gleamed with mischief. Ever sent a love letter? No, never. What do you mean, no? You don't have someone in your life? Or, dot, like, back in your time, a secret lover, a wife, a forbidden affair with the blacksmith's daughter? He gave a soft huff through his nose. Our lives are filled with duty, not dot dreams. Most unions are arranged to seal peace, trade, or political power. That's depressing, dude, dot double quotes, dot he shrugged. It is what it is. I have had offers, of course. But my focus, dot, was never on romance. Wait, she leaned toward him. Are you telling me you've never fallen in dot love? Not truly, he replied. There was never time, nor space. Her brows pulled together. Wow. Imagine living your whole life, dot, without knowing what it feels like to fall in love, like, properly. The butterflies, the giddy stomach flops. The way your face hurts from dot smiling so much after seeing someone. He watched her curiously. That's how you felt about your Jungkook. She freezes. She know the answer to that question so well. I mean, yeah. He slurped his noodles. What did thou do in your free time? Well, she stretched her legs out, toes brushing the edge of the dot table. Sometimes I sleep all day. Sometimes I binge-watch trashy reality dot shows. Sometimes I read books I'll never finish. Scroll endlessly on my dot phone, order junk food. Sometimes my Jungkook would show up uninvited. He knew where I kept the spare key. We'd just hang out, you know? Drink some wine or dot beer, fight over which movie to watch.
He always picked the sad ones, dot. He makes the best fried chicken.
I swear, like, it's illegal how good it is. Why do you keep calling him my Jungkook? She turned to look at him, the smile slipping just slightly. Because, she sighed, it's weird. You have his face, his voice. Even the way you dot furrow your brows when you don't get something. It's the same. So calling you Jungkook feels off. Like I'm cheating on my brain or dot something. So I say my Jungkook to remind myself that you're not him. You two were bonded, like soul companions. She made a face. I wish you wish to marry him. Duh, she muttered, flopping back on the couch with a groan. Oof. Dot had this stupid soul-crushing crush on him for over a year. Jungkook tilted his head. Crush? She sat up a little, rubbing her forehead. Means I liked him. Liked him. But I was scared, okay? Scared that if I told him, Dot, it would ruin everything. What if he didn't feel the same? What if he thought I was weird? Or desperate? I kept waiting for a sign, waiting for the right time. But it never came. There was a strange silence between them. Not awkward, just quiet. Dot double quotes. Now I just sound like some lovesick fool, don't I? Jungkook looked at her thoughtfully, setting his now empty bowl on the dot coffee table. You sound like someone who cared deeply. That is never dot foolish. She glanced at him, surprised by the softness in his voice. He offered her a small smile. This Jungkook of yours.
He is very lucky.
She swallowed hard, then looked away, hugging her knees to her chest. Yeah. Well, he never knew. You still can tell him. Dot, she let out a sad laugh. Yeah, if he ever comes back. They sat in silence for a while, the sound of the television playing quietly dot in the background. The room felt warmer than before, not from the heater or the ramen. He will come back, he said finally. She turned to look at him, eyes squinting. How are you so sure? Her shoulders dropped as she exhaled deeply. I don't know how everything dot happened. It still feels like I'm dreaming. Like one of those stubborn dot dreams that refuses to end. I've pinched myself, slapped myself once, dot still here. Maybe it's some weird glitch in the universe. He was quiet for a beat before answering. Or perhaps the universe is dot not broken. Perhaps it is merely trying to show you the strength of your feelings. For what you once called a crash, he squinted, correcting himself. No, crush. She blinked. Wow, you remembered that word? Dot gave a sheepish nod. Yes, that crush. A strange word for affection that feels like it could tear the soul in two. She breathed a quiet laugh through her nose.
He leaned back slightly, eyes still on her. Mayhap this is not a mistake in the stars, but a test. A test? He groaned. This cursed snake.
It slithered beneath my feet. She stared. That's the lamp cord. I do not care what name you mortals give it. It tried to kill me. She slapped a hand over her mouth, tried to hold it in, tried to stay serious. But the second his offended pout met her eyes, she lost it. Laughter exploded out of her, loud and ugly and wet with tears. He looked at her like he was the victim. Like the floor, the lamp, and she had all plotted against him. I don't understand why you're laughing, he muttered, still rubbing his elbow. She wheezed, it's just you and the snake. Oh my God, she went on another round of laughter. Eventually he sighed and flopped back onto the carpet like a man defeated. She wiped her eyes and slid off the couch to join him on the floor. The carpet was warm from the heater, and the sound of rain against the windows filled the quiet space between them. She pulled the blanket down with her and threw half over his legs. This is not dignified, he mumbled, staring at the ceiling again. Neither is getting taken down by a lamp, he side-eyed her.
It had intent. Sure, let's blame the snake. Thank you.
They both smiled. A low thunder rolled somewhere far away, but it sounded closer this time. The sky outside was pitch black, the rain heavier now. They kept talking, not always about deep things. Sometimes nonsense. Sometimes questions about their worlds, about food, about how he still couldn't believe television existed, and how she still couldn't believe someone could exist who's never eaten ice cream. Hours passed. He shifted. She moved closer. The blanket slid up to their shoulders, and, without really meaning to, they both just fell asleep there on the carpet. I never want to live in this strange world again, was the last words he whispered before another deep thunder roared, but by then they both were out like a light. That's the first thing she felt as she slowly stirred from sleep. Not the cold floor beneath her. Not the faint sound of the TV still playing random infomercials. It was a weight around her, tight, warm. Like a very determined octopus wrapped itself around her body and said, mine. She stirred a little, groggy, and tried to move. A sleepy whine left her mouth as she blinked her eyes open and met a wall. No, that's actually a chest. It took a second for her brain to catch up. Slowly on a tortoise speed, she tilted her chin up, and dark eyes blinked back at her. Soft, sleepy, and warm like melted chocolate. Hi. His voice low and scratchy from sleep. She blinked. Hi. Was that pink on his cheeks? Maybe it was the cold. Maybe not. He cleared his throat, eyes flicking down at the mess of their limbs. Why? And then she realized they were on the floor. Still wrapped in the same blanket. Her arm was curled tight around his torso. His legs somehow managed to tangle through hers. Why the hell did that feel so good? She immediately uncurled her arm. He seemed to take the hint, slowly letting go of her waist too. Everything in her screamed keep hugging him, but they were adults. With dignity and back pain. She rubbed her eyes, yawning. We slept here last night. Even forgot to switch off the TV, she added, squinting at the dim screen still buzzing in the background. You're paying the electricity bill for this. And before you ask me what bill is, it is money you give for this magic box.
He groaned, pushing himself upright with an actual sound of pain. My body hurts like hell.
I feel like I've been thrown down from the seventh realm. Why the hell is the floor so hard? She snorted. It's the floor, genius. No, this is betrayal. My back is crying, he grumbled, rubbing his shoulder. I don't think I can go to work today. What time even is it? She hummed in fake sympathy, checking the time. 5 a.m. and letting her eyes drift lazily toward the window. But then her body freezes, brain lagged and heart stalled. Eyes snapped, open like someone plugged her into a caffeine 4. Jungkook, he hummed in reply as he stretched his arms over his head. Shirt lifting, Just a bit to reveal that stupid sliver of skin that always makes her forget how to breathe. Jungkook? She said again, louder now, turning to face him completely. He raised a brow at her. Yeah, she blinked, mouth dry. You're my Jungkook, right? He tilted his head, confused but soft. You have another Jungkook in your life I should know about? That was it. She launched herself at him, double quotes. W. His back hit the carpet with a dull thud as she tackled him down. Arms tight around his neck like she was afraid he'd disappear again if she let go. Which, to be fair, she kinda was. They rolled once, twice. He tried to grab at something to stop the chaos. But they ended up tangled all over again, a disaster pile of limbs and blankets and static hair. Holy shoot! What's gotten into you? He grunted, voice muffled. Against her shoulder, she buried her face into the crook of his neck. He froze for a second, then wrapped his arms around her too. Are you okay? He asked, voice softer now. You're hugging me like I just returned from war. His hand patted her back awkwardly. Did something happen while I was sleeping? Did you have a nightmare? She pulled back just enough to look at him. My Jungkook. Not the one with the old language and confused eyes. Mine, with sleepy lashes. And hoodie wrinkles and the pink blush blooming across his cheeks. Again. Maybe. He stared at her for a beat longer. Like he was trying to figure out why she was acting like she hadn't seen him in 1,000 years, but she wasn't going to explain anything yet. She didn't want to let go of this moment. You sure you're okay?
He asked again, one eyebrow raised. Mm-hmm.
You're really hugging me.
Yep. And crying a little. Just a bit. He blinked.
Then sighed with a soft, helpless smile and tucked her hair behind her ear. Cute. That almost made her cry again. Instead, she pressed her forehead to Dot's shoulder and whispered, Welcome back. His brows furrowed slightly. Huh? Nothing, she smiled. Just missed you. His ears turned bright red. Yeah. Don't say stuff like that so casually, he mumbled, looking away with a shy smile. Yeah, he is here. It's too early. She laughed, pressing her cheek into his chest again, listening to that familiar heartbeat.
He let out a long sigh. You're so weird sometimes.
But his arms curled around her anyway. Did he still look confused? Yes. Was he secretly enjoying the fact that she practically tackled him with love at 5 a.m.? Also, yes. His hand slipped under her hoodie to rest at the small of her back. And she felt his fingers twitch like he didn't mean to do it, but when she didn't complain, he rested there. I mean, I don't mind, he muttered after a beat. But if this is how you wake me up every morning from now on. She laughed. Goodness, you have no idea how much she wanted to hold him every night and wake up with him, but they will get there too, and right now. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter how strange and unreal it all was. She wasn't going to waste another second not being close to him. Can we go back to sleep? Just for 10 more minutes? Yeah, sure, but you don't want to sleep on floor. My back's still hurting, he whined. All right, old man, she rolled off him with a teasing shove. But the second she moved, he caught her again. Arms circled around her waist, wrapping himself around her like a giant, sleepy octopus. Ugh, don't call me that. He giggled against her shoulder, and it was the soft kind of giggle. The sleepy, muffled, boyish kind that made her heart melt all over again. She let him happily. His arms felt like the safest place in the world right now. Outside the window, the sky was still dark. Not night, but not quite morning either. That soft, quiet hour where the world was still dreaming. She blinked sleepily at the glass and realized something rain. It was still raining. She closed her eyes, head tucked beneath his chin, just listening to him breathe. Jungkook? She whispered. She felt the soft hum vibrate through his chest against her cheek. She bit her lip hard. She couldn't see his face, but she could imagine it. His half-lidded eyes, his warm breath brushing her hair. Want to dance in the rain? She asked. His body stiffened against hers. She could feel his heart picking up its pace. Thump, thump, thump. It's raining? His voice was rough with sleep, but also careful. Another beat. You really want to go out there? She turned her head just enough to see his face. His dark hair was messy, eyes still puffy from sleep, lips parted slightly. There was a pink tinge to his cheeks. I mean, she tried not to sound too hopeful. It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought it might be nice. He stared at her like he was trying to figure something out. His gaze dropped for a second to her lips, my nose, her ridiculously uncombed bed hair, and then back to her eyes. He rubbed the back of his neck. I'm not good at stuff like this. Stuff like what? He blinked. Romantic rain dancing, she snorted, the tension cracking like glass. It's not supposed to be professional dancing, idiot. He narrowed his eyes, but the corner of his mouth twitched. Good. Because if it was, I'd need at least 3 hours and a YouTube tutorial. She laughed and he smiled at that, and my heart felt like someone had poured hot chocolate all over it. He sighed like he was about to deeply regret his life choices, then pushed off the blanket and stood. He stretched once, groaning like a grumpy cat, and then looked down at her with one eyebrow raised. You coming or what? Her eyes widened. Really? I'm giving you 1 minute, before I change my mind and crawl back into the blanket like a worm. Double quotes. She bolted up like lightning. Yes, okay, I'm coming. The door opened with a groan, and a soft gust of cold air slipped in, tickling against their skin like it was saying, Are you sure about this? You too? Jungkook stood still for a second. She was one behind foot just him, outside practically the threshold, bouncing on her toes. He looked like a very grumpy, very if I get handsome struck by rain lightning, elf. I'm haunting your shampoo bottles first. Why just the shampoo? Because you care about your hair more than you care about anything. He wasn't wrong. Before she could sass back. He took a step forward, and suddenly the sky was all around us. Raindrops met their skin like soft applause, cool and ticklish, sliding down their necks and soaking their clothes within seconds. The world smelled like wet soil and city dust and something clean. The streetlights glowed orange and gold through the misty curtain of rain. He stood stiffly for a second. His arms slightly out, he blinked up at the sky. Why do people romanticize this again? It's literally water assault. You're not being assaulted, you're being experienced. I feel like a sponge. She just spun around once, lifting her face to the rain, arms out like some second-rate movie heroine. We just sway, that's all. He exhaled, then took a step forward. Just one careful step, then another, and another, until he was standing right in front of her. The rain caught on his eyelashes. His dark hair clung to his forehead. His lips were pink, wet from the drizzle. So she helped him by reaching out and took his hand. I suck at dancing, he whispered. I don't care. I might step on you. I have insurance. Their feet were clumsy. The rhythm was non-existent. They were more like swaying trees than actual dancers, arms loose, chests almost touching, heads tilted forward, but it didn't matter. It was perfect. His hands eventually found her waist. Hers slid around his neck. Their foreheads bumped. He groaned but didn't pull away. They swayed and the rain fell harder. I remembered. He barely spoke about the loud noise of rain. She blinked. What? The thing you said at the bus stop. About dancing in the rain. And I remember that it was just a night ago. Why does it feel like it had been months? When I finally fall in love, I want to dance in the rain with that person. That's why you stiffened earlier. Yeah, because I realized you were talking about me, he said. Her breath slowed down. He swallowed. His cheeks were redder now. His eyes darted anywhere but mine. And I didn't want to assume. I mean maybe you were just saying it casually. You joke about weird things all the time. I never know when you're serious.
And
Jungkook, she cut in gently. I was serious. He looked at her, startled. His lips parted. She exhaled. I think I'm in love with you. He blinked. Oh. That's it? Oh. He panicked. No. I mean, shit. Wait. Damn it. She started laughing, full and loud. He scowled. face pink as a strawberry. Stop laughing, I'm trying to be romantic. This is your version of romantic? I panicked. Okay. She pressed her forehead to his chest, still laughing, still warm. It's okay. You don't have to say anything. But I want to, he mumbled into her hair. She looked up. I love you, he said. I think I've been in love with you for a while now. I just kept thinking you'd figure it out before I had to say anything. She tried to hide her grin. I had the slightest idea. You're literally the worst at hiding things. You blush every time I walk into a room. I do not, he said too quickly, eyes wide in betrayal. You do, even right now. He let out a groan and covered his face with his sleeve. I'm going back inside. I can't handle this level of emotional exposure. My heart is naked. Don't, I won't tease, I promise. She smiled and tugged him back, and they swayed again, barefoot in the grass, dripping with rain but wrapped in something that felt too warm to be just weather. He spun her suddenly. Will tried to. She was not ready. Her foot slipped on the grass and she gasped, practically crashing into his chest. He caught her with a surprised laugh. Sorry. I saw it in a movie, thought it would be romantic. Nearly crushed my neck. The fall wouldn't even scratch anything. They both started laughing loud. If someone saw them, they looked silly. But kept swaying somewhere between the awkward steps and laughter. She felt it. The thing she was always talking about, the butterflies. The stomach flips, the heat behind your eyes and the ache in your chest, and that impossible to describe feeling of knowing that if this moment were the only once he ever got with him, it would still be enough. Because right before the sun rose, just as the sky cracked into soft lilac and gold, Jungkook leaned in and kissed her. His hand came up to cradle, her thumb trembling slightly. It was awkward and wet and shy. Even the raindrops slid between their mouths. But it was perfect. When they pulled apart, he was blinking fast. Holy heavens.
He breathed. She nodded slowly, dazed. Yeah. That was...
He started. Yeah, she said again. Because really, what else could she say? Words didn't fit moments like that. They stood in the rain like two idiots who just kissed for the first time in the middle of a garden at 5:30 in the morning until boom thunder clapped loud and sharp above them. Jungkook yelped and immediately ducked, pulling her down with him. Okay. Romantic moments over. Nature hates us. She burst into laughter as they fell into the wet grass, him grumbling beside her like a soggy grandpa. He glared at the sky. I swear to God, if I catch a cold, we're breaking up. You just said you loved me. I love you, not the flu. She pinched him. He giggled, rubbing his arm where she pinched him. Then his eyes lit up suddenly like a kid remembering a secret. Oh God. Wait, in all this chaos, I forgot to tell you something incredibly interesting. She turned her head toward him. What? That you secretly do like pineapple on pizza? No, that would never happen. He shifted onto his side, grinning like an idiot. I had a dream last night.
Yeah? She said, smiling lazily, still catching her breath. No, listen, like a crazy dream. It felt so real. I was a king.
The king of Ilsong province. Everyone was bowing to me. Like heads to the ground, no eye contact type of bowing. She blinked, her smile faltering slightly. I had so much authority. Like I ordered a man to bring me grapes and he sprinted. And I had this robe with fur. And everyone was talking all fancy words. It was straight out of history book. But one thing I hated, you were not there. Like you, would be beside me and we would have so much fun. Oh, she could only stare at him in shock, because, it wasn't a dream. Him and his look-alike king from decades ago actually switched souls. And it was not a dream for her, and she was sure as hell it wasn't for him, either. Holy crap. How was she going to explain that? This was going to be a long night.